Hello, Ronald Damp here, checking back in. Guess where I'm at today? I am in Fountain Valley, California, here at Prehistoric Pets. It's the place I've been wanting to come to for a long time, and I'm finally here. I'm also visiting my big bro. This is my big bro, Greg.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, he's a lover of snakes. That's one of his favorite animals in the whole world. And we're gonna get him in there. He's gonna hold one of the big pythons, I think. No? Come on, man.
Mine.
No. All right. We'll see you guys in there.
she hasn't eaten in like 2.5 months, 3 months. So what that is that's all her eggs basically getting shelled. So she'll lay about 6 weeks after this. But that is a 75% Super Dwarf Anery Het Snow.
Now, the Super Dwarf Retics, where do they come from?
So they come from a couple different localities. You have your Karampa locality, your Kalatoa, which the Kalatoa I would say is probably the most common you guys are going to come across. And then you also have your Kaiwatis, which those are like right in the middle. You really don't see the Karampas very much, but you do see a little bit of the Kaiwatis in there.
And the size on these, they call them Super Dwarfs because, of course, they don't get as large as an adult, right? And and the reason is because they come from a small populated island. Is that the reason?
Exactly. So they come from very small islands. Some of these islands that are literally 1.5 miles wide. So very, very small areas with very small food. So these guys don't have access to the large prey items that the mainlands do. So they basically evolved to stay smaller and smaller. So this is a full-grown adult, and this is something similar to what you would find as far as on an actual island. So they're able to survive off rats that they have on the island. They don't have to go out and hunt deer or anything such as that. And they're actually considered now different subspecies. So you have Python reticulatus, Jampea, which is your dwarf stuff, you have your Slayer, and then with your Super Dwarf, Python reticulatus Kaiwati, they're actually considering them separate subspecies now. So in essence, we're making hybrids with these. And that's why it gets so complicated as far as the question is, like, how big do they max out at and all that. Garrett Hartle does a lot of great information with that too.
And it varies too on how much you feed them.
A lot on how you feed them. Sometimes they'll take more after one parent than they do the other. And especially when it comes to adding morphs, there's no such thing as a morph so far. I believe Anery might have come from Super Dwarf. It did, but no other morph did. So everything that you see with the color on it that's not an anetheristic has come actually from hybridizing. So it's very hard to say, because I've seen it go both ways, but feeding is really what it comes down to. If you feed them a lot, they're going to get big. If you keep them on more of a manageable diet, they're going to tend to stay more of a size.
So even if they're dwarfs, you can feed them and grow them?
Especially with the dwarfs, because with the Jampea stuff, especially, both the dwarf localities I have seen get quite large if they're fed a lot. I actually saw a dwarf get up to 18 feet.
Wow.
That I had. So I bought a 75% dwarf. I had the parents and the lineage information to prove. The guy I bought her from provided everything to me. I fed the crap out of her and she hit 18 feet.
So you do, what is your name again?
I'm JT.
JT? As you guys know, we're back here at Prehistoric Pets. We're in the breeding room. Very fortunate to be back here. And JT's giving us a tour. He's actually, you do a lot of the breeding for the dwarfs.
The Super Dwarfs.
The Super Dwarfs.
Yeah, I breed a lot of the Super Dwarfs we have here, and then I breed a lot of them.
Man, so I lucked out today because that's exactly what I wanted to look at was Super Dwarfs, because that's an animal that I really like, because for one, they don't get real big, and you can still have the pleasure of having a retic, but just not the size.
Exactly.
So, all right, JT, let's take a look and see what else we got. Thanks. All right, we're in a different. I've asked JT to show us some baby Super Dwarf Retics, so he's going to show us what we got here.
Absolutely, guys. We're just gonna squeeze on back here. Sorry, Rosie. Oh, you guys can squeeze by there. Sorry.
No good.
So
oh wow.
We were just talking about snow. So this is a purple snow. Now what a snow is snow is an anetheristic albino. So what it does here is the anery removes all of the red pigmentation out of the animal, which is why you see no orange and higher whites on her, which is why they call it a snow. So these guys have always been kind of one of my favorites. It's a double recessive combo, so just pairing like a het snow to a het snow gives you 1 in 16 odds of hitting one snow, which is why you don't see a whole lot of them out there. Like we have one snow pairing that we did where we have 1 in 64 of hitting the combo we want. So it's a really hard project to work and actually hit your odds with.
And that's all recessive genes.
Yeah. But double recessive, it's a lot of fun just because you end up getting a lot of times crazy results like that.
Yeah.
And Garrett just did a golden child snow, which was probably one of the prettiest animals I've ever seen. There we go. Here's another one. Super Dwarf Purple Snow. This one's a Pos Het Anery, but looks like it'll actually prove out because it has a little bit of a lack of orange on there. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
So you got the tiger pattern on there, and then the purple is what's giving it its color. Mm-hmm. You can see how tiny these guys hatch out too. These are almost like little corn snakes.
Yeah.
And these are 50%, but these came from a Super Dwarf mom and a Super Dwarf dad, so generally those will yield better results than if you're doing a Super Dwarf.
Now, can you tell by looking at a, other than size, the characteristics of a Super Dwarf? Aren't the patterns a little bit different?
They are, but unless I know the actual lineage, I never call anything a Super Dwarf. So this right here is an anathoristic, just like the one we showed down there. So again, it's removing all of the red pigment. And you are absolutely right about that pattern. As you can see, it absolutely messes with their pattern. And that's one of the reasons I love breeding Super Dwarfs personally. And primarily that's what I work with personally, is just because of those patterns like that.
Now there is a dwarf. Now there is a dwarf version too, right?
Absolutely.
Are larger.
Yeah, the dwarfs get a little bit trickier to tell what size, but you have your Jampeas and your Slayers.
But those also are island-specific localities, right?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
And then we have stuff like our genetic stripe trait, which genetic stripe, it is rumored it came from Slayer, but no one has ever proven that. But every one of the females has always stayed smaller, so that's why we call our genetic stripes dwarfs, but we don't attach it to a locality, is because we just call them that. Because they never actually have been proven to have come from the island of Slayer, but the females typically, a lot of the originals stayed 12 to 14 feet, so definitely a lot smaller than
genetic stripes.
islands. Yeah.
And that's what I've been, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the genetic stripes, that's why we call it dwarf instead of attaching it to a locality, because unless I'm able to actually prove and trace back to the original import where it came from, we just call it dwarf. So I believe there's 6 total in the world. So this is a brand new gene that's called Rainbow. It's also another breeder that does call it Ocelot, but we decided to call it Rainbow.
God, it looks like
almost like Ocelot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Wow, and the rainbow, it does. Look at the iridescence and on the gray background.
So this is since it's a brand new gene, we don't have these in dwarf or super dwarf yet, but it's something that we're absolutely going to be trying to do. This guy right here is about ready to start breeding. So just another couple months and he'll be ready to actually start siring some clutches and making some brand new rainbow combos.
Does this, now you said this color morph here, or this pattern morph, you said it's not available with the super dwarfs or dwarfs yet, but it will allegedly match up though, DNA wise?
It'll take a while. How it will work is, so when we breed this guy to a pureblood wild caught or F1 super dwarf, they'll be 50% super dwarf and het rainbows. So then we'll have to hold those offspring back and breed those together to actually hit a super dwarf rainbow. So it's about a 6 year or so project on that.
Wow.
But in 6 years, you'll be seeing this guy's offspring in super dwarf.
Oh, that would be so awesome. That is really gorgeous. That is like, I don't know, in person, guys, you probably have to see this in person, but this snake is gorgeous. I like that.
Yeah, it took Tim and Jay, I want to say 8 years or so to actually make this happen.
Wow.
They missed the odds on it a few times, but they never gave up, and it's a really.
What are the genes involved in this?
It's actually just a recessive gene called Rainbow.
Oh, so this just happened.
Yeah, this just happened. It was a morph we've been trying to prove out, and the first year we got like 16 or 18 eggs, and we get no visuals, which almost caused us to say this isn't a gene, but we decided to do the breeding one more time, and we got this boy right here. So it's really, really cool. And the parents actually proved to have some extra genes in them, so we're hoping to actually this year hit like an orange glow or a caramel rainbow, which would be really, really cool to see.
JT, thank you very, very much for having us back here and showing us all the cool snakes. I appreciate the time taken. And guys, we're out of here. Prehistoric Pets, you guys got to come check it out. Also, check out, if you guys are interested in JT's channel,